Frank Miguel, president of the Model Association of Central Kansas again. Uh, Last time we talked, I was going out to the airfield to check on the damage from an ice storm, and there wasn't too much out there that needed to be concerned with, just some fallen branches blocking the road and things like that, and I took care of that. Runway needs some patching, like I figured before. We're going to have to figure out how to fix that. Thought I'd talk a little bit about the hobby today. What gets people into the hobby? Well, for me, it was a passion of airplanes. I think you got to have a passion for it in order to be able to get into this hobby. I've enjoyed model airplanes ever since I was little. I grew up in California and used to go out to a park where they had a little area there where people flew, and I always thought it was the neatest thing in the world to see these guys with these little radios flying airplanes way up in the sky and then bringing them in. I thought that was really, really neat. In general, I've always loved airplanes. Large size, small size, don't matter. I like them. How much does it cost to get into the hobby? Well, that can vary. You have all kinds of different things that you can do. You can use a scratch build project like this one here. I built it out of Dollar Tree foam board, and it cost me probably about $10 to build the airframe. It takes a couple sheets of Dollar Tree foam board, some hot glue, a little paint, and a little bit of creativity. You know, I got creative with it. Printed up some logos online and printed them up and made the Batman symbols on it. The most expensive part is probably the electronics. You can go to cheap places like hobbyking.com. That's where I usually shop for things. It's relatively affordable. Some people complain that the quality of the electronics ain't that great, but I haven't had any problems with them yet. So, you know, as you can see, I use them in my airplanes here. I got a little orange receiver in there. So, you know, I'm trusting my aircraft with these things, and I haven't had any failures yet. Another place you can do is go to auctions, and you can buy really good bargains at auctions. This plane over here, which is an Eagle 2, I bought that at auction for $45. Probably put together everything. If you bought that brand new, it'd probably be about $300, $400. Got a really good bargain on it. Even had some servos in it. In case you don't know what the servos are, the servos control things like your control surface, like your rudder, your flaps, your ailerons, things of that nature. And in a gas-powered plane, it controls the throttle. Of course, I fly electric. I don't fly gas. I think electric's a little cheaper to get into. Also, you don't have a lot of headaches with it. This airplane down here, the P-51 Mustang, I bought that at auction. I paid $70 for it, roughly about $300 for that airplane, brand new. I looked it up on the internet after I bought it to see what kind of a bargain I got. The airplane over there, that one there belongs to my youngest son. And that one would normally be about $200. He got it for, I think it was $40, if I remember correctly. So you can get a really good bargain. In general, you're looking at about between $200 and $300 to get your equipment started. It all depends on what route you want to take. I've gotten really addicted into flying. I have numerous aircraft in my home. I hang them up onto the walls so that my wife doesn't gripe too much. I got a few laying down here on the floor, as you can see. You know, it's, you know, this is my area up here. I keep all my hobby stuff upstairs where my wife doesn't have to look at it and get upset with me. that's going to be another thing you need to think about when you're getting into the hobby, is making sure you have a place to put your stuff. It tends to grow after you get into it. Um, where should you fly? Well, I guess that depends on your location. You can fly in clubs, which is what I belong to. And that's probably one of the better things. Usually, it's okay to fly there. You don't have to worry about getting into trouble with anybody. Um, Radios. What type of radio should I use? Again, it's apples and peaches. Um, I have this radio here that I bought online. I bought that from eBay. I paid 125 bucks for it. It's one of the better, cheaper end radios. It's a Spectrum DX6i. Or you can go cheap, which I also do. This one here is a Turnigy radio that was bought from Hobby King. Paid 50 bucks for it, which it seems to be a pretty good radio. My son uses it a lot and doesn't have a problem with it. You're going to have guys out there that are going to tell you that one radio is better than the other. Maybe they are, maybe they aren't. I don't know a lot about radios. I can tell you the ones that I do have, I like. I haven't had any real problems with them. I don't think you need to go expensive on getting into the hobby. I would recommend starting off affordably and then working your way up. One thing I do recommend is that you join the AMA, which is the Academy of Model Aeronautics. Their membership is $75 a year for an adult. Children under 18 are free, which is awesome. You get a free AMA membership, and I'll talk about that a little bit. Your AMA membership, with that, you get a yearly subscription to the magazine, which talks about things going on around the country. And not only that, but you also learn about building and things like that. So there's lots of good articles and stuff in these magazines. The biggest thing about the AMA is your liability insurance. Your liability insurance is important because if one of these planes hits somebody or hits somebody's property, you're liable. So I think that rather than get sued by somebody for thousands of dollars you can't afford to pay, it's better to have some sort of insurance in place. It's a secondary insurance to homeowners insurance. So whatever your homeowners insurance wouldn't cover, AMA would cover, I think up to $100,000 or something like that. So if you don't have homeowners insurance, I've been told that they'll cover it, but they act as a secondary insurance. Getting started, I really recommend that you guys get into a club or talk to somebody who has what's called a buddy box, so they can take you out, go flying. Basically, what the buddy box is you have two radios, and they're hooked up with a cord, and the guy who's experienced will take it up. He'll get it up in the air, and then he'll have you take over and fly. Once you're flying, if you make a mistake or something, he can take over and keep you from crashing, which is great. They also have some planes that have what's called a safe technology or wise technology, and that basically all you do is you let go of the sticks and the plane will self-correct itself and start flying straight and level again. I don't really like those systems because I don't think they're 100% foolproof and you can still crash. Also, you don't get the personal experience of talking to somebody who's been flying for a while and he can see what you're doing and doing wrong and try to help you make corrections on it. I think that that's probably the better way to go. I wouldn't necessarily go with, these planes that are built for beginners that says, oh, all you have to do is let go of the stick and it'll correct itself. They're great planes, don't get me wrong. The only thing I don't like about it is you don't have somebody that is saying, hey, this is what you're doing wrong and this is how you fix it. Because otherwise, it's going to take you a lot longer to learn how to fly a plane. I think that you need to get out. I'd like to see younger kids get into this because you got too many kids that are on video games and stuff these days, and I think they need to get out and do things more often. When I was a kid, I was outside a lot. My father didn't want me inside a lot because he felt getting outside and getting fresh air was important. I tend to agree. I think that it's a great hobby. It costs a little bit to get into. It's going to cost you about $200-300 to get started, maybe. Um, if you're in Kansas, which club to join? I guess it depends on where you're at. I'm located in central Kansas. I've been told we have one of the better airfields in Kansas. I don't know if that's true. I haven't been out to the other ones yet. Tend to visit those when I get a chance, and I'll probably report back on that to some of you guys later and give you a better idea of what I think of them. And in comparison to ours, I hate doing that though because it's peaches and oranges again. But I'll think of things to report back and try to help people figure out what they like about this hobby. Um, let's see. I think that'll be all I'm going to talk about for right now. I'm going to try to cover more things in my vlogs. I'm going to cover some of the events that we have at our club. I hope that everybody's watching and enjoys the videos that I put up. If I do any scratch building or anything like that, I'll probably put that up too, so I can show you what I'm doing and talk about where I got the plans and that sort of thing. So until then, talk to you later. Bye.